Welcome back to my next playthrough series, this time Tiny Epic Defenders. I'm going to be using two characters to do this playthrough. I'm going to be using the Druid and the Warrior, and we'll take a look at their special abilities and stuff in a minute. I'm not really going to go over the rules, reason being, watch it played if you do a search on YouTube here. Has an excellent how to play video for this particular game. And so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to get into it. I've set up all the decks the way they're supposed to be. I'm playing on easy mode because I will probably make some rules errors and have enough things to try to keep track of as I play. I don't want to do it in epic or hard mode. So basically, in this deck is only going to be one epic foe instead of 2 or 3 or 4 in the different difficulty levels. Plus you can place the side of the coast, plains, mountains, desert, forest, ruins, on any side you want, and you can also place them in any location on easy mode, which I'm playing. So the Druid is going to be blue, the Warrior is in yellow, and I think, again, without explaining the rules, let's just zoom down a little bit. We're going to look at the Druid's abilities, the Warrior's abilities, and then we'll come right back and just start into the game. Alright, I hope we can read this okay. Basically, the Druid has a passive ability. It's a Martyr. When a hero within one region of you defends, you may take the damage for that hero instead. So that's okay. And as an action, Nature's Call, he can just move to the forest. Now the Warrior here, his special ability is Sprint. When using the move action, the Warrior can travel up to 2 regions. And I do believe that supersedes the sandstorm in the desert, so he can blow through the desert by using his sprint action. I believe that's how that works. We may not encounter that in the game. 4 hit points for the Druid, 4 hit points for the Warrior. Let's zoom back out, and I will explain the rules as we play, and let's just get into it. But before we begin, of course, I should probably explain what it is we're trying to do. We're trying to defend the capital city. If the capital city gets destroyed, we lose the game. We also have one epic foe out of, I think, 7 or 8. I'm not sure how many are in the game now. You randomly choose it. I don't know which one it is. We also have an epic monster within the pile here, and once again, I don't know what it is. We will find out as we play the game. So what we are trying to do is defeat the epic monster at the end. If we kill the epic monster before our capital city is destroyed, then we'll win the game. I suppose we should talk a little bit about the locations. The desert has a passive ability. It's always happening. It's a sandstorm. It takes 2 action points to leave the desert. The forest is enchant as an action. For 2 action points, reduce the threat level of any outer region by 1. So that's pretty cool. The coast, embark, move to any region, including the capital city. And the actions on locations can only be used once per turn. And so we'll see that in action. But as long as I remember the rules correctly, the plain safeguard, you may defend the 2 adjacent outer regions as if you were on them. Defending means if you get attacked, you can take a wound to prevent the location from taking damage. The ruins, absorb as an action, transfer 1 threat level from another outer region to the ruins. So when you're there, you can take that action. In the mountains, there's a fortify action. Fortify, place your meeple on the circle. The next time an enemy or dire enemy attacks the mountains, move off the circle to defend without sacrificing health. So that's a pretty useful thing, especially when we get into, I guess it's called dire enemy and epic foe. 2 different things. All right, let's begin. Well, how do we play the game? Again, go to Rodney Smith and watch it played. He will explain everything excellently, but we have a deck of cards that we must get through. This will be a round. At the end of the round, we're going to add one of the 4 extra cards on top of the epic foe. When we can no longer draw cards off of here to add to our round deck, we are going to encounter the epic foe. So let's begin. So we're going to flip the first card. And what do we have? Some enemies. So enemies are going to be attacking us in the... Which region is that? That is the plains and the ruins. And we can't do anything about it, I don't think. Or hang on. When a hero in a region defends, well, no region is defending, so none of our special abilities are going to happen. So we have to increase the threat level. In the plains, it's going to go from 1 to 2, and all locations, outer locations, start at 1 threat level. And the ruins is also going to take a hit. So already getting close to being destroyed. And what happens when a location is destroyed? You can't use the ability, the action ability anymore. And the next time the region would take a hit, Capital City takes a hit instead. That's how the Capital City gets destroyed and you lose the game. So that was the very first card. Now let's hope one of our cards comes up so we can take some actions. And the next card is, all right. Players gain 3 action points collectively, or 4 if there is a destroyed region. So I'm going to have to do a bit of thinking. We can split up the 3 action points between the 2 characters, or one character can take all 3. I'll have to think about it, and we'll be right back. All right, I think I've decided we're going to have the Druid use the group card to take all 3 actions. The first thing he's going to do, oh, and I should say movement-wise, you can only move to the location to the right and to the left, and then you go around the circle clockwise or counterclockwise for movement other ways. So you can't go from Capital City to, say, the desert or mountains. You have to go out through left and right. Okay, I'm going to have the Druid, who is blue. He is going to move 1 space to the forest. That's 1 action. You get 3 actions on your turn, and this is, of course, a group action card. So he's going to take 1 action to go to the forest. He will then use the forest ability, action, enchant, for 2 action points, reduce the threat level of any outer region by 1. We're going to take the ruins, and we're going to reduce the ruins by 1 from 2 down to 1. That's the 3 actions. That's basically all we're doing on our turn. So we gave all 3 actions to the Druid. Now, there is another rule. If you use 3 actions or more on your turn, you can sacrifice 1 health to take 1 more action. But I'm not going to do that. We're not going to worry about it. Let's go to the next card. What do we have? All right, well, the Warrior gets to go. This is the yellow color. The Warrior now gets 3 actions. So I have to think about what the Warrior wants to do. I think what the Warrior is going to do, and his special sprint action, when using the move action, the Warrior can move up to 2 regions. I think he's going to head to the plains. So for 1 action, he can move 2 locations, 1, 2. He's in the plains. He's going to do a sucker action, which means he's going to reduce the threat level by 1. So that reduces this down from 2 to 1. That was his second action. He has 1 action left. And what does he want to do with his 1 action left? I think he might want to move over to the coast, because from the coast you can move to any outer location, including Capital City. So for his final action, we're going to move him over to the coast. So far, so good, but let's go to the next card. Things are going to heat up, I'm sure. Wow, okay, and this was thoroughly shuffled. The unfortunate thing is, after we have 3 more cards to get through. After our Druid now gets 3 actions, the monsters are going to be going 3 times. So, and I have no idea which locations are going to come up. Okay, so let's see. 3 actions, eh? This is getting a little tricky. Well, actually, let's see. I don't even know what we want to do. Let's take the first action, and we're going to reduce the threat level of the forest to 0. Might as well do that. So that's 1 action. His second action will be to move to, let's move him to Capital City, and his third action he'll move to the ruins. And we'll leave it there. That's the end of the Drew's turn. Now he could sacrifice 1 health to get 1 more action, but I don't think we're going to bother. All right, now we're going to get hit hard. Oh, well, okay. No, we do actually have 2 group cards. Wow. All right, once again, so wow, all of our actions, wow, then it was shuffled a lot, trust me. All of our actions, we get 3 actions to split up between us. So I think we're going to have we are going to have our Warrior take 1 of the actions, and he's going to take the threat level from the coast from 1 to 0. There's 2 actions remaining we can split up. I actually think the Warrior is going to use the action here, embark, go to any outer region, including the capital. He's going to move to the mountains, and for an action in the mountains, he's going to move into the fortification. That's all 3 actions. So now if we get attacked in the mountains at all, he can just defend it without sacrificing any health. All right, that was that, and 2 cards remain. And we're going to have the forest is attacked by spiders, so its threat level is going to go from 0 to 1. And we have the ruins attacked by skeletons. So at the ruins we have 2 choices. We can either increase the threat from 1 to 2, or our druid can take a hit to defend against the skeletons. I think he's going to do that. He's going to take a hit, going to go from 4 health down to 3, preventing the damage to the ruins from the skeletons. All right, last card for the round. Once again, the forest hit again, going from threat level 1 to 2. And we have now the desert with some scorpions. The desert is going from 1 threat to 2. And that very quickly concludes our round. So this is all our cards played. So what we do now for the beginning of the next round, we take the top card off the threat deck, I believe it's called. We don't look at it. We just add it into our other cards, and then we're going to give these cards a shuffle. And I'll do that kind of on screen, off screen. I don't know. My shuffling is pretty good, but here we go. And that's basically the end of round 1. So I don't know how we're doing. I have no idea. This game is pretty tough. You can get beat down very quickly. So now this will be on to round 2. So let me just catch my breath here, and we'll come back, do probably a little bit of round 2, and that's probably going to be good enough for episode 1. All right, let's get into round 2. Now, there could be one of those dire enemies now. Could be, or it could be another location card, because there were 4 cards in here. One of them was a dire enemy. All right, let's begin. This is really start of round 2 and see what happens. Okay, this is a new card. This must have been the card got added in because we haven't seen it before. We have an attack happening in the coast. The coast is going to go from 0 threat to 1. And now we have a threat in the mountains. We didn't have that before. All right, the nice thing is we're in the mountains. The warrior is in the fortification. It says, place your meeple the next time an enemy or dire enemy attacks the mountains, move off the circle to defend without sacrificing health. So our fortification stopped the bears from increasing the threat level in the mountains. That's a good thing. All right, 1 card. Let's go to another one. And we now have an activation for the warrior. The warrior now gets to do 3 actions. For his first action, he may as well... see, there's no point. There's no more mountain cards this round, but there is a lot of forest. Now, I think we're going to use the warrior's sprint action. When using the move action, the warrior can travel up to 2 regions. The text on the warrior card trumps the abilities on the cards, because normally if the warrior wanted to go here and then here, it's going to cost him 2 actions to leave the desert. But because he's using sprint, he can blow right through there, 1, 2. So for his first action, he moves to the forest. Second and third action, he's going to reduce the threat in the forest down 2. That's all of his actions. So far, so good. Let's continue on. More threats. The forest is going to be attacked by the spiders. Our warriors here, I think our warrior will take 1 hit to prevent the damage to the forest. And the ruins now with skeleton attack. Our druid is at the ruins. I think he's going to take a hit. He's going to go from 3 hit points down to 2 to prevent the damage to the ruins. I think we're going to do a couple of more cards here, and I think that might be the end of our episode for today. Wow, some more attacks. And once again, the plains get attacked 1, threat level 1 to 2, and back to the ruins. And I think our druid once again is going to take the hit. He's going to go from 2 hit points down to 1, so he's getting dangerously low on hit points. And 1 more card. We're going to conclude it. All right, this is a group action, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to give 1 action to start with to the druid. The druid is going to move to the capital city because we want him to start his turn in the capital city, which is a passive ability, rest. Replenish all your health if you're here at the start of your turn. Well, he's not, but he will be. 2 more actions remain. Actually, should we have done it that way? Should we have done it that way? I think so. We're getting to the end here. I think we're going to have the warrior go 1-2 for 1 action, and then he's going to go into the fortification. So that's the 3 actions. Oh, let's continue. I think we can probably blow through the rest of this round. We only have 3 cards left, so let's go ahead and do it. And we now have the druid going. As a passive ability, it doesn't cost an action. He's starting his turn right now in Capital City. He goes to full health. Excellent. And now he has 3 actions. So he's going to go 1 action, 2 actions to the plains, and he's going to reduce it by 1 for a 3rd action. And it says you may defend the 2 adjacent outer regions as if you're on them. So he can defend the coast and the ruins at the same time as the plain. So that's a pretty good location to be in. That's the end of our druid's turn. Wow, doing pretty well, he says. And now we have the forest attacked again, going from threat 0 to 1. And we have the desert. Oh, I forgot about that. Desert being attacked. That's going from threat level 2 to 3. Did I miscalculate? I might have. All right, next card. All right, it's group action time. And I think we know what we have to do. Ah, boy. So, what do we want to do here? I think... I'm going to have to think about this. Our desert is very nearly destroyed. Don't really want that to happen. And so, I think we're just going to have the warrior move into the desert. 1 action, and for 2 more actions, 1-2, drop the desert's threat level down to 1. Okay, I think that's going to be all right. And so we're at the end of the round. Very quickly, we're going to take top card off our threat deck here. We're going to add it in. We're not going to look at it. And we're going to do a lot of shuffling again. So we're going to shuffle up the cards, and I'll shuffle these offline as well, so you don't have to look at that. All right, now let's see. Do a little more shuffling here. And okay, well that's basically round 1, round 2. We're going to have, of course, all of this round to go through, plus adding 2 more cards. Then we're going to get the Epic Foe. Probably a couple more videos. Not an extremely long game, but it is an extremely tough game. And you get these artifacts, I should mention, when you defeat a dire enemy, which hasn't happened. All right, so thanks so much for watching along. This is Tiny Epic Defenders. I'm playing with the Druid, the Warrior, and so thanks so much for your likes, your subscriptions, comments. Really appreciated. Join me next time for the continuation, Tiny Epic Defenders.